Alright, good morning guys. This is our first episode, if you will, of Kitchen Tour 2014. Hooray. So this is what I do with my block sheets. If you can come on up, Jamie. I know this stuff's backwards because the way our video is, I apologize. So I have some block snacks up here and then what each block is, and then on this other side of my cabinet is unfavorable carbs. And that's, you can see in there, it's where our glasses are. So you can even see inside our cabinets. This is a cup from Cheers when me and Jennifer went to Boston, and this is from the CrossFit Games last year. They gave us some shot glasses, which is weird, but they gave them to us. So there you go. A good place to put your block sheet so that you've got them there for quick reference. Sometimes it's not on the block sheet, but you may have to take home an extra child. Even if it's a Martin kid, you can see two bed heads over there. Yo. Okay, so this is the breakfast I make almost every single morning. So I'm going to show you some stuff that I've got over here, ingredients wise, but there's not much to it. It's pretty basic. So I get my stuff out in the morning. Will you hit that kitchen timer? We're going to start a timer so you can see how long it takes me to make it, and that way it's more relative to your life. So I've got some organic coconut oil, and I think Jennifer just gets this from, you get it from Ingles. Yeah. It says 14 grams of fat for 1 tablespoon, and that's almost exactly what I put in there. I've just been doing it so long, I know. So, and then we've got another cooking pan here for my eggs. I just use Pam, the original, and coat that. I don't personally count the cooking spray as anything, but you know, I've been eating this way for about 3 years. So a lot of the stuff I'll measure, but some of it I've just been doing so long, I don't even really need to. And besides that fact, I've found that I actually need more quantity or less quantity of what the stuff calls for. So, like our kale here, 1.25 cups cooked is 1 block. And as you'll see, I eat quite a bit more than 1.25 cups cooked. But I just let this coconut oil swish around there and get a little warm. In the meantime, my pan for my eggs is getting warm. And so I've just got kale that we buy at the store. It's actually better if you can buy organic kale, but sometimes funds dictate how much we can buy. So I grab a handful, and this is about 1.25 cups. Here's my measuring cup, I'll show you. So that's about 1 cup, and then if you add 1/4 cup of kale, and you can see my handful was just about the same. I usually do about 2.5 handfuls every morning. So I'll let that sit there. I always take a little lime or lemon juice and just squirt it on the kale while it's cooking. I'll stir it up and stuff. Usually while that stuff's getting warm, I just get in a glass and go ahead and start my day off with water. We just keep a glass of water, a big pitcher of water in the refrigerator. And that way it's always cold. No need to worry about getting ice or any of that. Once I get my water, I break out the old handy dandy fish oil. This is Ocean Blue. You can get it from Publix. It's really high in potency. I take 3 in the morning, 3 at night, because that seems to be what worked for me. When I was training for the games, I was actually taking 4 and 5 each time. But I don't really think that all that's necessary. So once I feel like my heat's up, I take my 2 large eggs. These are just from the store. The best ones are from Brian Fancher. but he hadn't been at the box in just a little bit, so we're going to go with store-bought eggs.
Do the kitchen timer because they'll see the timer on the video.
Okay. So I just take my yolks and pop them. I'm more of a well done egg eater than anything else. Take some mozzarella cheese. Just bought from the store, just like you'd see. I got my scale here. I don't know if you can see it. We'll take a little cheese and throw it in there. So that's about a half an ounce. And there we got 1 ounce of cheese sitting on the scale. And that's ready to go on my eggs whenever the eggs are almost done. So this kale, if you'll just stir it, and that oil and lime juice is going to kind of soak into the kale as it cooks. I don't really want to cook this a long time, because I don't want to cook any of the nutrients out of it. So I've got my stove just set here on medium heat, and about the time this thing gets hot, I'm actually going to cut the heat off. So while I'm doing that, I grab me a plate, which I've already got over here. Baby used to. I got some sweet potatoes. I actually cooked them in the oven last night. If you have a convection oven, they're the best. Cook them on 350 for, you can see the skin just falls right off. Nice dark orange sweet potato. So we're going to count this as 3 blocks. I normally cook them a little longer, but Jennifer and I were getting close to bedtime, and so we just set the timer and let them stay in there. But this will work. I always get these ends off. That's personal preference. You can eat the whole thing, skin and all, but that's your sweet potato. We can edit that out.
Okay.
Okay, so I take my sweet potato. You can move. Thank you. Just throw it in the microwave. So that's going to be cooking. So my kale's been on the stove long enough. I'm going to cut the heat off to it. And just still keep stirring it. You may back that up. You can see what the kale's looking like now. I don't cook it down so much like you would spinach. I still want it kind of fluffy and crunchy for my personal taste. Okay, so I'm going to leave that over there. My eggs, you can see they're just like regular old fried eggs. I personally don't salt and pepper them, but I'm a little weird. So if you like salt and pepper, go ahead. A little piece of kale dropped in the egg, nobody cares. Okay, we've got our cheese. Then we've got some boar's head turkey here. We just buy this from Kroger or Publix, wherever we go. Will you show them the sweet potatoes real quick?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just cook a pan of sweet potatoes like this. You see we put 8 on a pan, put them in the oven. On 350 and on convection, it takes about an hour, sometimes an hour and 20 minutes. And then if you just cut the oven off and leave them, boy, they'll just get soft as can be. Best case scenario, once you get them out of the oven, instead of leaving them in there like when they're done, put them in a cooler. Shut the cooler and leave them all night long. And man, those things they're right on time. Okay, so our sweet potato has been in there for 1 minute. So I'm going to go over here and smash it up with my fork. And then I'll probably put it in there for another 30 seconds or maybe a minute, depending on how hot I want to get this thing. So I'll put it in there for 30 seconds. Once my egg, it went off again. Once my egg is just about the way I want it, looking at it, I'm going to flip it over. And then I'll cut my eye off. Just cut the heat clean off. Take my cheese that's already been measured. I'm just going to sprinkle that cheese right on there and spread it flat so it can melt. And then I want to get my turkey on there right behind it. So I'll throw my turkey up here and let's see what I got. We got 3 ounces, so that's a little bit much. So we'll probably have to take about a half off. Now there we go, we got 2 ounces of turkey. We're gonna lay that bad boy right here on top of our egg and cheese. Got a piece of cheese jump ship. And now we're gonna let that cook for just a minute. In the meantime, our sweet potato's done. So we're gonna grab our plate out. Through the years, I've figured out that I need a lot more fat than just what the zone calls for a regular person, because I'm abnormal. So I always throw me some butter in there. So I've got, for my fat, I've got butter. That was about 2 tablespoons, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, and then typically with my meal or after my meal, I'll eat about 15 almonds. Also, will you show them this one? Show them how to flip it. So then, just like an omelet, I'll take and turn this egg concoction over. And remember, I cut the heat off as soon as I flip that egg. And I've just done this so long, I kind of know what that's supposed to look like when it's done. My mom always taught me to clean up as I was cooking. So while everything's finishing up, I'll clean up everything, and that way Jennifer's happy too. I don't leave her with a dirty kitchen. And if you like your eggs and stuff kind of crispy, if you will, flip that baby over. Take a piece of masking tape and seal up the old green. These boys will go up there. So now we've got our sweet potato cooked nice. Mix that butter in there nice and good so we get the fat. Now I'll take the egg right off. Won't scoop anything left in there. Get all the goodie. And we'll take our kale. And you don't have to use kale. Some mornings I'll steam broccoli. For time's sake, you'd have to buy those broccoli steamer bags. So there's our plate. Let's go over here. Really have a little contrast. You can do broccoli, you can do spinach if you like it. It's just very important to get as many greens in you as you possibly can. So that's a meal for Corey Daig in the morning. So we've got our water, we've got our 3, 4, 5 blocks of carbs, we got 5 blocks of protein, and we've got about 25 or 30 blocks of fat once I eat my almonds. But that's what it takes for this engine to run. Need a little bit of extra fat. So our time, we started at 8:34.
8:32.
8:32. Will you show them the time? And now it's 8:44. So it took 12 minutes to make that breakfast. There's a lot of mornings I will make this and take it with me and actually eat it on the way to work. But just depends on what your schedule is. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this. Tune in next week for an episode from Pamela and Jacob Clay's house. We'll see what they got cooking in their kitchen.